Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we talk about Bo Cumberland's new short film, Beyond Blantons. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, as well as our special guests, Bo Cumberland, Jim Goeken, and Wes Harden.
Hey gang, what's up?
Howdy.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, so yeah, I got the opportunity to screen this movie before it came out. It's out now, and yeah, really good stuff. And we'll talk about that, and we'll get into how it came about. There's a lot of questions I have. I didn't necessarily ask Bo a lot about how he decided to get on this topic or anything like that, but it's very helpful for somebody like me who has a business that doesn't sell Blantons, and we talk about that. Blantons ends up being the enemy because that's what everybody wants, and we get so many people come in the door, and then we got to try to convert them. So this movie, I think, is helps with that, and we'll get into that after the break. For right now, though, Bo said there's something you wanted to talk about outside of that topic. What do you got, Bo?
So Heather and I have started watching this show on TV. It's like a reality show. It's called Extracted.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You heard it?
We were watching that too. So yeah.
So the premise is somebody's competing. They're outdoors. They're not survivalists, but they're outdoors doing the survivalist things. And they have two family members or two people of their choosing back at, they call it headquarters, to where they're making decisions that affect them and that kind of thing. So I got to thinking and wanted to ask you all, two-part question. A, how long do you think you could last out in the woods, surviving on your own? And if it were a situation like that, what two people would you bring on to help you?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm in tune with the show because I watch it. There are decisions that you have to make because the person who is there in the wilderness does not get to decide their fate. Now, if you got hurt or something like that, I'm sure, of course, you go beyond the rules of the game, and if you think you're going to die, of course, they'll take you out of there. But they hook you up to some monitors and stuff like that, so your family gets an idea about your general health while you're out there. But they're the ones that have to push a button to get you out. So that's an important part of it too. So you have to pick the person that's going to give you tough love, because there's times when you're thinking, I just want to get out of here, and it's like, can you continue to push through? So you want to create the right people. So I think I would have Beka and MacLeod would be my people back at headquarters. And I would be out there, and I would be out there. I would be begging to go home in a day. I think they feel like they'd make me wait longer.
We would make you. Yeah. You picked the wrong.
You're not coming home.
Also, should we change this to which bourbon people, like from the ABV network?
Yeah, there you go.
That's who we need to pick. We cannot pick. Because, obviously, my mom and my brother, yeah, for sure. But, let's pick ABV people who would to.
Well, I'll stick with Beka and MacLeod. And I just think the fun of those two, because you're back at headquarters, you can do whatever you want. I see them drinking cocktails and watch me. There's times
just forget to watch you.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to
You're like
negotiate
heart rate
stuff.
spiking. We're like,
Yeah.
is there a beeping going? Is that your phone?
They'll be like, oh, we got this survivalist knives, which are very good. And then we got some folding knives. And then we got, for some people don't get anything, you guys would be like, he'll be fine without anything. Because it's a negotiation
We'd be
back
like,
at the headquarters.
We'd be like, Steve probably won't like these because they're not like his knife. So he probably would just be better without it.
Yeah, just
I know. Because, there's people who fight tooth and nail to the death to make sure that their people get the stuff. And there's other people who are like, well, it looks like so-and-so that really needs it more. And I'm like, I would never think that because I don't care about the other people there. I'm only trying to care about the person that I've got in there and them doing as best they can. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's insight into human nature, which is pretty curious. So yeah, so Beka and MacNew, and they would control my fate. And I don't think I would last
leave
very
you
long.
there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that'd be my only chance to win is I wouldn't have anybody pushing that button for me to get me out of there. So, yeah.
So if you have somebody who is a survivalist, does that help, or is this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I want to go next time because I don't want my people getting chosen.
Most of them aren't like professional survivalists, though. There's some people who are like hunters and have a little bit more skills than other ones. I'll say that. But there's nobody out there who could be on like Naked and Afraid and make it to the end. There's nobody like that. And some of it's just like regular people. Like there's some moms out there and stuff like that. So yeah.
I think I would pick Lenny Eckstein. Yeah, because he knows about surviving out in the wilderness and making his own knives. Yeah, I think that's you need somebody that could tell you, okay, this is how you're gonna catch a rabbit.
Yeah, because you're the guy out there.
Yeah.
And
then
else would you pick?
And then my other one is going to be Ryan Thompson, and he would just buy my way out. I
I've sent my personal helicopter in
Billionaire.
Yeah. So I'm covering both types of scenarios.
Okay. All right. Wes, how about you, man? What who would be your person back at the two people back at the control center, and how long you think you can make it, man?
I don't have a problem being alone, so the isolation doesn't bother me at all.
Sure.
It just depends on is it super cold and all that kind of shit. The two people I would take, I only would go on there to win, obviously. So I don't want some sympathetic dipshit pulling me out early because I'm cold one day or something like that.
Neil Robinson, you're like, you get slightly chilly one night, and Neil's like, get him out of there. He's cold. Yeah. He doesn't have a sweater.
I think I would pick Kevin Majors only because he would be drunk and passed out all the time. I wouldn't have to worry about him pulling me out.
He denies he's ever got drunk since we've known him. That is bullshit.
Sure.
I've seen that guy fucking 3 sheets.
I've seen him at our events.
I know. He claims
I've heard
we've
him
never seen him get drunk. Yeah.
I've heard him talk on podcasts and it sounded like he was talking Japanese or something.
Right.
He was drunk.
He just denies it though. Just when in doubt, just deny.
The other person I would pick for a much different reason would be Lenny, only because he probably hates me enough to where he'd want to leave me out there and just make me suffer, and then I would just win by default because I would just outlast everybody. So those are my two.
Those are your two. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Beka, what about you?
I was gonna pick Lenny, but I'm not going to now, just because I don't want Lenny's ego to get too inflated here.
Yeah, what if they offered? Just think if they offered like 10 fish, and they're like, "Okay, this is for your family members out there in the woods," and you'd be like, "No, send that here. I'll take that." Exactly. So then you get to your no 10 fish.
I'm gonna do one that I'm surprised has not been brought up.
Okay.
Like this one makes actually perfect sense. I think people wouldn't expect me to say this person, but Darren.
Darren, oh yeah,
fucking Darren.
This is a guy who goes up to places with no plan, and then is just like, well, I couldn't get a hotel, so I just slept in the woods.
Darren is like such a good choice. So Darren for sure, because he's like Mr. like tree man, right? Like he likes trees and stuff.
Plus, it would be good TV watching you scream at him.
I'd be just yelling at Darren the whole time. Be like, no, Beka, I can't. I'm like, you don't want to be. Darren, get me the fuck out of this place. And he'd be like, no, you told me to not not let you leave. And I'd be like, I don't give a fuck what I said, Darren. Get me the fuck out of here. And he'd be like, oh, fuck? I would say my husband, but that just sounds annoying to say my husband. Honestly, like I wouldn't want to deal with him
Me
in
too,
that
just
situation.
crying. I love you so much.
Actually, the other person I would pick would be Steve Beam.
Steve Beam, okay.
Yes, because he's also a plant guy, and so like
Yeah,
he'd be
that's
like,
true.
don't
Eat that one.
plant.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely would know that stuff for
You're
you.
like, do not eat those plants. What are you doing? Don't eat those
Right.
plants. That is a bad idea. And I also, I think that although Steve Beam is nice, I think that he would not pull me up.
Yeah, there you go.
I think he'd be like, Beka, I think that you could do much better. And I would just feel like, I'd feel guilty for like, I would feel like
Letting
I'd
Steve
feel like,
Beam down?
yeah, I'd feel an obligation to not be a little bitch about stuff. Like, because I wouldn't
Right.
want to let Steve Beam like be like, well, we had to because she just really sucked.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Steve, yeah, I think Steve Beam would be.
All right.
a really
Bo,
good-
you asked the question. Who are your two?
So the two I would pick, well, first off, I think I would last probably 3 hours, maybe. I'm not that good
You're not a
outdoors.
survivalist?
Yeah. But
And they do shit too. Like one time they're like, down by the lake in the northwest quadrant, there's a deer. Go grab what you want, and then you got to go carve off hunks of meat from there and stuff, and then go back and cook it over open fire and shit. So
I wouldn't even know how to do that.
no, I wouldn't know either.
I would just
grab like a hoof. I'll be like, this will do it. I'm good.
I'm
Like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, it's kind of like a chicken wing, right?
Chewing on a hoof.
I'm chewing on a hoof.
I'm getting my iron.
I think the two people I would put out there would be for the same reason Wes chose Lenny. I would choose you, Steve, because I feel like you would be like, yeah, just leave him out there.
Steve would never pull you in.
Oh no,
Yeah,
of course
he would
not.
never. And the other person, I am going to say Royce Neely because I feel like Royce would put some of this in my care packages.
There you go. He'd slip it in there.
Sure.
At least I could just drink and forget my misery.
This is true.
Royce would be good at it. I just don't want to deal with my husband in that situation.
But I think he would treat me differently than he treats
Yeah,
you.
he'd be way nicer to you.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. There you go. You got me and Royce at Control Center. So yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good stuff.
Yikes.
Yeah. Heather's calling me. Get him out of there. I'm like,
Get him out.
he's good
I'm
another
like,
day. One more day.
He'll be fine.
Let's do another day and assess it. Yeah. So there you go. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with our own Bo Cumberland, the man of the hour. What do you got there, Bo?
I'm going to go with a fairly well-loved bottle of Neely's.
Okay.
It's a mash bill.
What? It's a wheated bourbon.
Okay.
Nothing.
Nothing going on there. Sad. Goeken, you're next.
I also have a wheated bourbon. This is Copper Dome from Nobleton's. And I popped this open and had it at my son's the other night. And he had a buddy over. And I was like, I know it's wheated, but I would swear it is a rye. Interesting. Here we go. Oh, nothing.
Boy, literally nothing. Bo's got the lead.
This is one of those corks that won't stay in either.
Okay. Yeah, he had a problem with his corks for a while. He's finally got that fixed, but that was from the era where he was having cork issues. All right, Beka, you're next.
I have. So the guys from Iron City Distilling were down hanging out with me today at the distillery. And they left some stuff with me. This one is a straight bourbon whiskey finished in Sauternes.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. There was a shitload going on there. There was squeaking. There was a great cork pop. There was sloshing, and there was even spillage.
I would say it sounded like spillage.
There was a lot happening there. So yeah. But she's got the lead. It can be beat based on those fouls committed, but we'll see what happens. Wes is next.
I cannot beat that. I've got a screw top. I've got Heaven Hill 6-year bottle and bond.
Okay. We've still got a couple bottles of that left, the old school stuff. Green River, foolproof.
That's good stuff.
It's good. Let's see what we got here.
Winner.
That's the winner. There it is. No fouls committed. And about an equal cork pop, I'd say, but no fouls gives me the nod. So cheers, gang.
Cheers.
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 All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the latest from Bo Cumberland. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show. Danny, though, you are between Jim and Victory. What do you got?
I have an Indiana. Right?
Sure, Danny.
Tumble dice?
Cumble Dice. Yes, I love Cumble Dice. I'm sure that's the name of the brand, Cumble Dice. Sure.
Tumble dice.
Oh, Tumble Dice. Okay.
Yes.
Let's
Freddie Mills of Ruse.
Okay. Freddie Mills of Ruse.
So we're about to pop it.
No, that was all desk is what that was. All desk, no pop. Jim wins. So Jim, you got it there, man.
Hey.
Congrats, Jim.
Cheers, gang.
Oh my God, this is horrible.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking to Bo Cumberland.
Yes, we are. So there's no doubt in my mind that Bo Cumberland is the greatest filmmaker in the bourbon industry ever, I guess, at this point. I think we're starting to, clear out a path for him to get into the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. The guy is making great bourbon content, and I'm talking whether it's about the full-length movies that he's involved with, whether it's a short film like this one here, or whether it's just his personal, tour videos and stuff like that give insight on individual distilleries. I mean, the guy is committed like no one else. And I know that, if anything, you bring up bourbon movies, people bring up neat. And again, that's with a real budget. They got a Hollywood person in there. It's not made for us. It's not made for true bourbon fans. It's made for it's made for your grandma, someone who knows nothing about bourbon and needs to know the basics of bourbon. And, B stands for bourbon. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's cool. It's 51% corn. Oh my God, 51% corn. Yeah, he's making films that are for bourbon fans. And I think it's unbelievable. And he's got this great new film out about Blantons, and not bashing Blantons. It's just, is there other paths you can take out there? Or is that just the ultimate? And he gets into that. So, Bo, how did you come up with the idea to do this one, first of all?
It was several different things. The main thing is I try to, with a lot of my content, I try to gear it towards new people that are coming into the industry. And I know when I was first getting in, and I would listen to not necessarily ABV people, but just other people in the industry, back then it was like, if you don't have a bottle of Blantons or you can't get a bottle of Blantons, then and I got tired of hearing that, because A, I wasn't going to pay $150 for a bottle of Blantons, and B, I couldn't find it anyway. So, the more I thought about that, just lately, I've been thinking about just different kind of content that I can put out that will help new people into bourbon kind of navigate through the mud at the beginning. And I started thinking about it, and it was like, okay, what's so special about Blanton's? And it is a good bourbon. It's a good, not one thing about that film I think bashes Blanton's at all. As a matter of fact, the first alternative I offer is to find other Buffalo Trace products that will help fill that gap if you can't find it. But the reality is people want to chase it when they first get into
right
the bourbon, because it's a single barrel, and it's, people tell you to, but in the world of single barrel, I will say this, there are much better single barrels out there. When you look at craft distilling like Neely Family Distillery, or, there's others out there, but their goal is to have a single barrel taste off profile. So you're not going to get the same profile the same taste profile. Like if you drink Blanton's, when I drink Blanton's, I get the same taste profile I get with other Buffalo Trace products. When you're chasing a true single barrel, you want something off profile and something that you're never going to taste again. Everybody knows, if they know me, knows that my favorite single barrel to this day ever was Neely Family's Marshmallow Black Belt. You're never going to taste that again. So to me, I wanted to bring that into it, and just kind of help newer people into bourbon realize that, there are many, many other alternatives out there. Still try to get the bottle of blends if that's what you're after, but there are many, many alternatives.
Right. Yeah. What I think it's important to point out too is you do this out of all this work that you do is really out of a labor of love. The fact that you love the bourbon industry and you love whiskey, and you're doing these things. When you look at other movies like the movie Neat, financially very successful, I'm sure, and it's on Netflix or whatever it's on, Hulu, I don't know. But, that's a money-making, venture for the people behind that. For what you're doing, you're just doing it because you like getting the word out. You're a filmmaker, you like making movies and stuff like that. And, you're doing it for really, all the right reasons. You're doing it to provide education and entertainment for people that like you that love whiskey, right?
Yeah, to me, there's not really a whole lot of other industries or topics that are as vast as bourbon. I've got in the hopper some other stuff coming out that are just history based and science based, and so there's all these different angles you can go, and the content can be just as good and just as fresh. And the other thing too, if I can say this, one of the reasons that I'm kind of going this direction with my content now is, there's 1,000 videos of somebody drinking the newest bourbon and giving you the taste profile. And I just don't think we necessarily have to have more of that. So, what I'm interested in is other aspects of bourbon, telling the stories behind the bottles and,
Yeah.
this
Creating
other.
real content.
Yes.
What you're doing is creating real content, and that's and we'll talk about, where they can find this content and why you should subscribe and be part of this. You look at like the like you said, the people who are making money off the bourbon industry and on the, YouTube and stuff like that. You look at their content; it's very basic compared to what you're doing. They're standing there, they're drinking and sampling and giving you tasting notes. Like you even need that. That's jackassery. Or just walking into liquor stores. Oh, here's great content. Yeah, I'm walking into a liquor store and here's what you got. I benefited from that, from a big time player in that. But I just think that the content that you're creating is actually valuable. I think that, again, and a lot of the stuff that I do, whether it's the podcast or the movies that we've made together, I feel like it's going to find its audience. Unfortunately, you and I will probably be long gone. But as people look back 100 years from now and like, let's really delve into this, this renaissance of bourbon that came during that era, and hopefully it's coming around again at some point, like it was then, and maybe that's what spurns that. I think you and I are doing a good job of documenting what's going on today and in the recent history. So that's what I think you need to be commended for, is preserving this stuff that you're doing, buddy.
Thank you.
Who's got more movies out than Bo?
Nobody.
I
Not
mean,
even close. No one else has revisited the topic. I mean, you look at the bourbon movies that are out there; it's been a one and done.
That's what I thought. I didn't know if I'd missed some others or they're hiding somewhere. But yeah, and like you said, Steve, the YouTube videos you see, it's the same stuff.
Right.
It's over and over. It's I've got these because I'm an influencer and I can tell you about them, and you're never going to get them because they're allocated enough and they're all on the secondary, and all they do is influence the new people who don't know any better, and have them start chasing instead of exploring whiskey, and like you always say, people walk into the shop and they say, oh, I don't like rye. I had my son had a buddy of his from work over, and the first thing he did when we sat down, he was like, yeah, he's like, I've discovered my dad gave me some wheated bourbon. I don't like wheated bourbon. And I kind of chuckled because I had 2 bottles of Weller and this Copper Dome that they're all 3 were wheated. And he ended up and liked all 3 of them. I was like, just try it, taste it. Like
people set these things up in their mind where they're like, I don't like this, and they're missing out on good whiskey. Good whiskey should be about tasting. And again, if you don't like it when you taste it, don't drink it.
Yeah. But try everything.
Try it. Yeah, try everything. That's how you find new things. Yeah, and make whiskey a journey. So, Wes, what do you want to know from Bo about this project or what he's got going on in terms of filmmaking?
So, because I did not receive a pre-screening copy, so I have no idea what the content is. Walk me through real quick exactly. So the name of it suggests that you're trying to give the viewer alternative to, you're using Blanton, but in reality, mainstream is what it smells like to me. Am I wrong about that or correct?
No, you're right. So it's basically, it is, I do focus on Blanton's, but it is the, Pappy, or it's the, name it, whatever the flavor of the month is that, when you get into bourbon, you have to have this bottle if you're a true bourbon fanatic or whatever.
But I can tell you, Bo, you're right on here, and I'll just interject that. I mean, I own a liquor store. We get more calls for Blanton's than anything, and it's probably 10-1 over anything else. I mean, we do occasionally get Pappy and stuff like that, but the one that people are asking about is Blanton. So you hit the nail on the head in terms of choosing, because you might think, well, Pappy, it's worth way more in terms of what people pay for it. In reality, what more people end up chasing, because I think they can ultimately afford it, even if it's at a high price, is Blanton. So it's a good choice there.
Right. So the real question I'm asking is, in the movie, what are you suggesting as the alternative? I'm sure it's not one single product, but is it a general overall theme of go to your local liquor store, go to your local distilleries store, shop? go to a local bottle shop and see what's available on the shelf for a price range that you can afford, and then try that until you find something you really like? Or what is it that what's the end game, I guess?
The three different alternatives that I offer is if you're new to bourbon and Blanton's is what you're chasing, go to Buffalo Trace, because you can usually get Blanton's at Buffalo Trace. Like once, at least maybe twice a week, they have it there. So go to the distillery. But if not, my first alternative is other Buffalo Trace products. So there are other Buffalo Trace products that are made with the same mash bill. And I'm not saying, and I didn't say in this film, that Ancient Age tastes exactly like Blanton's, but it's the same mash bill. So you're getting the same profile. So if you can't find Blanton's, go to Buffalo Trace, and I listed the rest of their like lower level products, and kind of how they are similar to Blanton's, how they differ from Blanton's, but basically expand your palate that way. The second thing I offered was go to a distillery that does single barrels, like Neely Family Distillery, and I even mentioned Spirits of French Lick when Alan was there. He did some really good single barrels. So go to those places, and those are the places that really do single barrels well. And like I said earlier, those are the places that are going to have the single barrels that are going to be off profile from what their standard flagship products taste like. So the second option was that. The third option was to go to your local liquor store and look for barrel picks that they have chosen, because you are literally tasting the palate of somebody who's been in the industry a while, that knows kind of, for the most part, they know what they're doing. And then I mentioned that there is only one store in the world that does just single barrels, and that's the ABV shop. So I mentioned them and talked a little bit about Steve and his part. So basically it was those three options. You have so much more out there. And I just know, for me, it took me a while to get through the mud before I could kind of see clearly that, Blanton's is a good product, but it's not the end all be all to bourbon. There's some really great stuff out there. You just have to know what to look for and where to look.
Right.
So the other question I have, it's about future potential projects. Have you ever thought about, so to your point, there's a lot of, whether it's a full-blown movie production, which you're doing, or it's YouTube video clips, or it's video clips, podcasts, there's tons of content about reviews and this distillery and the history, and people bringing on, pertinent people that are into industry. One of the areas that, and it's a taboo area, but I think there's a way to do it. There's this love-hate relationship within the bourbon enthusiast world of the secondary market, and kind of how that whole thing works, and and it's like everything in life, right? Most things, there's a good and a bad side, and there's everything in between. Have you ever thought about branching out into something that's not product related or distillery related, but maybe getting into kind of like the minutia of like, hey, there's this upswelling of the bourbon industry, something that is a byproduct of that a lot of people have no idea about, and it explains why they can't find things like Blanton on the shelf for a reasonable price. It explains to them why they can't find Weller 107 or Weller 12 for a reasonable price. Is that something that you would look at branching out to in the future? You think enough people would have eyes and ears on it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually is something that I'm in the process of kind of working through right now, because, if you talk to these people who, work at these distilleries or produce these bourbons that you can't find other than the second and third, the second and third markets, they're just as frustrated because, their products are being seen through a different lens than what they were intended to be seen through. Even Dixon Deadman, when we interviewed him, Steve, if you remember this, for our first film, he was talking about Kentucky Owl, and he hated the fact that it was like $300 or whatever it was at the time, because he said he didn't create it to be that way, but that's just the way the secondary market has made it. And he said he even hated the fact that, you couldn't buy his bottle for, what the price point he set it out for, because he wanted, normal everyday people to be able to find that, but that just wasn't the case. So yes, indeed, that is on the docket for some topics for some film.
Plus, he had to pay for a sign outside of his place there. But,
Mm-hmm.
Bo drove his drone right into the sign at the hotel thing he had going on there, the bed and breakfast. Yeah,
Flew my drone into
it. And we're packing shit up and getting it all out of there. We're trying to just hustle out of there because Dixon was out there talking to his dad who was doing some stuff, and we're like, hey, we're out of here. And then there's Bo's son, little Bo Jr. runs, Mr. Deadman, my dad hit your sign with his drone. You may want to check it for damage.
Yeah. Like a bird could have hit it. Like, I don't see anything.
Yeah. But yeah, he had to rat me out.
Then Bo's like, fine, we got through this. Deadman was okay with it. He's like, don't tell your mother. Well, of course, what do you think happens as soon as Bo gets home? Opens up the door, runs out. Guess what Dad did? Fun stuff. Becca, any questions for you about this video?
Yes, I'm wondering when Bo is going to come back to the distillery and film me again instead of using my old videos.
Oh, God.
Well, see, so here's another aspect to this. I have so much footage of people that I have filmed for different projects. And with this project in particular, I was mapping it out, scripting it out, and I want to talk about this, and then that brings up like, oh, I have Beka when she was talking about this. This would go good there, even though it was filmed for another project. Fit what the need that I had for it there. So yes, and I actually have a project that I'm working on right now that'll probably be out in a couple weeks. That's the same thing. I have it's chock full of interview footage that I filmed.
Beka Sue project.
Do what?
It's the Beka Sue project.
Yeah, it's the Beka Sue project.
He's already put one out on me.
Yeah.
That was like 2 years ago. That was like 2 years ago, wasn't it, Bo?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
A while ago.
This is a full-length feature documentary called "The Life and Time of Miss Beka Sue." Yeah.
I mean, it'd be quite a film.
I literally have probably 30 hours of interview footage from different people for different projects, and
yeah, it's cool.
And to me, it's a
great resource. Yeah,
I just used it for the one thing, and here's the thing: like Steve can attest to this. For Blending is Trending, we interviewed, his name always
Jim Rutledge.
His name always slips my mind. We have about 2 hours of interview footage just of Jim Rutledge, and we probably used 5 minutes of it for the film.
I think that whole thing should be released by itself for true bourbon fans. Again, your grandma's not going to want to watch that video. Fine, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
You're not bourbon. Here's a tip for you: if the movie's about bourbon, your grandma doesn't want to watch it. So it's for people who are true fans, and I think they would love Rutledge telling the entire story of this is what happened with Ford. Here's the real deal. And Rutledge is like that. He's like, I'm a no bullshit guy. I'm going to tell you how it is, and it's you're gonna hear the real story, and I don't care what people think because this is really what happened. And he's like, no one can stop me from telling the truth, and this is what I'm telling you guys. So
we have a whole probably 2 hours of Jim Rutledge. We have a whole probably 45, 50 minutes of Al Young, and it was I think this is the truth. It was the last interview he did before he passed away.
Yeah.
We have about 40 minutes of Chet Zoller talking about prohibition.
Yes. There's a pattern there.
Yeah.
There's a pattern.
Bo calls the interview, turn it down.
Yeah.
It's all this. It's all this.
That should be released December 5th for Prohibition Day, because Chet Zoller, for the most part, most people don't even really know how did Prohibition come about. You think about how could that ever even happen? Most people don't even know the story, but Chet Zoller goes into the whole thing for us. And it wasn't really something we needed for the film, but we had it. I think that should be released. Yeah.
On the real note, that's that's on the docket. I have those three that I'm going
Yeah.
to turn into complete, like full length interview things that I think people would be very interested in.
Yeah. You've got, and I know you've been releasing some Papaw shorts, but I mean, I think that all needs to be put together just for one person who wants to listen to Papaw stories one after another.
Also,
Yeah.
let me just put this out here real quick. So
Okay.
Bo does all of our film work for In the Distillery. We have like a B-reel playing in the distillery. And he's done that forever, and it looks amazing. People absolutely love it. And Bo just did his newest one in our distillery, which is pretty long. It's like what, an hour and a half long or something now, Bo? Bo did the meanest thing that he could to us, which is he made, and like it literally, like all of us just are like trying to not cry in the distillery all the time. Bo put some really amazing clips of Papa in the newest B-reel, and like I think that's fantastic. And it's like the funny stories, like Steve, you probably remember when Bo went in there and like filmed Papa, like when he was kind of like starting to get really sick.
Mm-hmm.
Bo did some like really good, like just like got a bunch of his stories, and that's on this, which is really cool, and it's fun to watch those. But Bo put in one part of it, which that is that amazing photo of Papa where he's walking into the distillery with his back.
Yeah.
You know that picture we used when he passed away?
When he passed away. Yeah.
Bo uses that photo in the video, and he has Papa fade away.
Yeah.
And it is literally, like, I started crying the first time I watched it. Bo did that. And all the guys are like, this is really traumatic.
Yeah.
It's like the most traumatic thing, and I'm just like Bo just makes us all cry all the time. Like it's like it is like such an impactful. Like it seems silly because it's Papa like literally fading away into this photo, and it is like the hardest thing for all of us to watch. And I just want Bo to know that you are a great filmmaker, but you also like literally me and Sean were talking about it today, and Sean goes, oh my God, there's that one part and Papa fades away. And I was like, it makes me cry. And I'm like, we're just all gonna be crying in the distillery all the time. Cause it's like, it's like the whole thing is amazing, but it is like one of the, like, you wouldn't think that just a photo would make you feel so.
Yeah. That's why Bo's such a great filmmaker. It's not only there's a lot that goes into making movies. It's cinematically, filming it to give it a good look. It's the special effects and the things that he does within that movie. It's the narration that he puts together. I mean, it's the transit. It's lining everything out to tell a story. When you have a bank of recorded stuff, if I tell anybody that's on this group besides Bo to put this together and turn it into a meaningful movie, we would struggle with that. Whereas Bo's mind works differently. He can take that raw footage and pull it together and in a concise manner to tell a great story, and that's why he's a great filmmaker. And he is the greatest American bourbon filmmaker that has ever lived. I will fight anybody to the death. Anybody who says neat is better than anything Bo Cumberland's doing is an idiot. I'm telling you that film, while bubblegum, it's like pop music versus real like rock and roll or something. I mean, Bo's making real stuff that is lasting, whereas Neat is, while a fun and enjoyable movie to watch, in reality there's not a lot there.
It's just clear that Bo loves bourbon.
Yeah.
In all of his films that he does. And like that's just apparent to everyone, I think, that watches all those things. And he actually cares about the people that he's filming and wants to show them in like some of the coolest lights that you can do. Yeah. And it's just obvious. I mean, like that's just what Bo does.
Yeah. Well, let's mix it up here. We're going to have Bo go first so he can share his contact information. Where to find these movies? I mean, you've got stuff that's out there. Some of it's available on Bourbon Sasquatch on my channel. Some of it's available on Bo's. So, Bo, tell us a little bit about where to find these movies like this. Blanton's movie's already out there. You can watch it. It's free to watch. So tell them about where to find this stuff, Bo.
Yeah, it's all on my YouTube channel, My Journey Through the American Spirits. I know that's long and kind of difficult, but My Journey Through the American Spirits is where all that's on. And then on Facebook, I have a My Journey Through the American Spirits channel that everything I post on, the goal is to get you to go to YouTube, and everything I post on YouTube, I tease it on the the Facebook channel. So, and then Instagram, it's the same. So I have all of those channels dedicated to my journey through the American spirits. And then, like you said, I post a lot of stuff on Bourbon Sasquatch as well.
Yeah. So we've got that out there. I do a lot of the stuff out there, but Bo puts the stuff that we collaborate on together out there. Also, if you're looking for our movies are available for sale. So you can rent them, and that's available on Amazon.com. So you just go, if you got Amazon Prime, you can watch those movies and stuff like that. We don't make any money off this. I was talking about, we make a little bit that goes into an account that we hold on to so we can pay for hotels and stuff like that when we make our next film. What does that fund? Well, it funds our next movie. That's what it funds. We're not
new shorts for Bo.
Yeah. New shorts for Bo when his drawstring breaks at the wrong time. So yeah. All right, let's continue on. Goeken, you're going to be next.
You can find me on Facebook at Jim Goeken.
All right, Wes.
Instagram, Bourbon_Wes.
All right, Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us. The ABV Barrel Shop, the place where you can try before you buy, as featured in Bo's new movie. So check us out over at abvbarrelshop.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Adios.
Adios.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.